Hello, David Ratton again. This is the Japanese dinner. I'll be making a cucumber salad and then making some sushi. Basic ingredients, there's some variation in this recipe, but it seems like the consistent recipe will have about 1/4 cup of rice wine vinegar. We'll have 2 medium cucumbers or 1 large English cucumber, some sugar, and some salt. Now, and also as an optional ingredient, a lot of times people will put sesame seeds in or include a little sesame oil. I didn't actually happen to have any sesame seeds with me, but it's an optional ingredient. People don't always seem to put it in anyway. So I was going to just use some of this toasted sesame oil instead to get the same, hopefully get a similar flavor. It's a real simple recipe. Just all it is you take the vinegar, put it into a bowl, and then we're going to combine this with some salt and then we're going to combine this with 1 teaspoon of sugar. And the next step will just be to make sure that all of this gets really well combined. We want to try to get it all dissolved up in the vinegar if possible. So I'm just going to kind of take this, tilt it over to the side a little bit, and hopefully we can just get this to dissolve in here pretty easy. And this is where there's some variation, but it seems like some people put the sesame oil in. So I'm going to go ahead and include a little sesame oil in it, just because I think that it seems like making a salad dressing, you'd want to add some oil and some vinegar and oil, not just some vinegar. But I think it's still staying true to the recipe, the traditional recipe. And this isn't really dissolving totally, but I think it'll probably be alright. It's going to just coat the cucumbers anyway. So, just going to add about a tablespoon or 2, I guess a tablespoon of the sesame oil. And I might have to just do this to taste. I don't... Got to open this up here. Okay, I think this is eventually going to come off. Nails would probably come off quicker. Alright. Okay. Probably have to take the top off of there. There we go. It's got a good smell. Get the hair out of there. We won't tell anybody about that.
Ew.
Okay. So there's just a tablespoon of toasted sesame oil to add a little extra kick to it. And, alright, just give it another little stir. At this point, it's basically just a matter of adding the cucumbers and coating. There's some people, if you go to a lot of Japanese restaurants, it seems like they'll typically also put in some seaweed or something like that. I wasn't exactly sure where to go to get the kind of seaweed that they use. I didn't seem to see it around at any stores. I'm sure that you can get it at some Vietnamese or Asian markets of some kind, but I just didn't really see it. And also, none of the recipes that I really saw seemed to include it, actually. But I know that like Sekisui and some of the other places around town like to use it. But this is basically all that's left with the dish, to just combine this and then, wait until it's time to serve it. I think sometimes that it's typically, a lot of times people will include some more of some of the skin on it, but we went ahead and removed that. It seemed like it would be just as tasty without it. Oh, get that back in there. And then this is it. This is a cucumber salad. It's really a very simple dish, a real refreshing dish. It should go well with the sushi. We'll have some sake later to go along with that. Thank you. Hello. This is back to the Japanese dinner. Cucumber salad, still sitting in the fridge. And I went ahead and wanted to do one mock-up of the sushi rolls because I wasn't exactly sure how they would work out. So here's a quick initial sample of what the tuna rolls ended up looking like. Obviously a couple steps that I probably need to talk about first. I thought if I tried to show you all the steps in making the rice, I think it would have probably ended up being about a 30-minute video, and you probably have other people, if you really want to learn how to make sushi rice step by step, I'm probably not the person to teach you, but just real quick to run through what all it took to get this to this point, is that you start off by washing the rice, and this takes it's supposed to take 2 or 3 times. I did it in this small container here, which was probably way too small. So I actually had to wash it about 7 or 8 times, and it still may not have been totally cleaned off. But after that, you combine it, unlike every other time I've ever made rice. Apparently the real way to do it with the sushi rice is that you go ahead and combine the rice, 2 cups of rice with 2 cups of water, into this pot here, and you go ahead and heat it up on high with the water and the rice in the same pot. You don't preheat the water like you do, it seems like most other kinds of cooking. So we did that, and that stays in there for 15 minutes, and no rice. You also put no salt in at that point, which is another thing that's atypical, it seems like, for making rice. But then you have the 15 minutes, once you bring it all to a boil, you leave it, you turn the heat down to low for 15 minutes, let it sit there on low for 15 minutes, pull it off of the heat, let it sit another 10 minutes, and then you let it cool. And after you let it cool, you make this like slurry that is 2 tablespoons rice wine vinegar, 2 tablespoons sugar, and 1 tablespoon salt. And you put it in the microwave and just try your best to get it to melt. I couldn't actually get it all to melt for me, but I'm guessing, maybe, I don't know, maybe I did somehow the microwave, I didn't microwave it long enough or something, but it just didn't seem like it was working. So then combine it all in there and just try your best to coat every single individual grain of rice with this little slurry you've made. And then, then the basic technique is more or less to just get a piece of this, the seaweed. This stuff is really crisp. When you first get it out, it's still flexible, so maybe it works just fine if I hadn't done this, but I went ahead and put it in a cloth and put it in the microwave for 5 seconds just to try to get it to get a little easier to work with it. So I guess we made a tuna roll a second ago. Now I guess I'll try to make a vegetable roll real quick. The rice may still be a little hot, but it doesn't seem to have been causing any problems. Nope, forgot a step right there. You're supposed to always, this is some water, rice wine vinegar, and salt right here, and dip your fingers in that before you deal with the rice, so that it doesn't stick to your fingers like it was just doing to me a second ago. And then just kind of spread it out over here. Just a thin coating of rice over the entire piece right here. I don't know, there may be some more technique to that, but I think hopefully this will work good enough. It seems to have worked well enough with the tuna. A couple things that I didn't realize, but apparently, according to some sources that I've looked at, you're not actually supposed to use chopsticks to pick up the sushi. But that's actually a cardinal mistake that lets people know that you don't really know what you're doing. And you should use your hand to pick up the sushi. There we go. Alright, that's probably a good enough little bit of rice. So, like I said, this time we made a tuna roll. So this time we'll do a veggie roll here. And just kind of combine it there. With a little bunch. I wanted to use some avocado, but unfortunately the avocado was really disgusting looking at the place I went to. So just decided to leave that be. This will hopefully this will add a little festive color, a little change, a little variety, a little spice of life. Okay, guess I'm gonna just try to stick it on there like that. And now I couldn't really find anywhere that gave me really authentic instructions, I felt like, on how to do this. So I'm guessing that you just kind of more or less just roll it up like you would anything, almost anything else. Just get it over, keep that in place, and then just keep it on going on over, and just really try to tighten it up so it doesn't come apart on you and get it done. There we go. Got another little sushi burrito.
Is that authentic terminology in Japan?
It's very authentic terminology. It's always referred to as a burrito. This is luckily I was nice enough to have my father and my stepmother have a nice set of knives that they were kind enough to let me come over and borrow. But just kind of to get the knife a little wet so that it'll cut through the rice a little easier, and then just try to make a nice, easy little cut there. I got this to work once before. Hopefully I can do the double cut again. It's a little bit of a risky maneuver, but you gotta live dangerously every once in a while.
Living dangerous is like having a piece of rice in your hair.
But you're not cooking unless you get a little dirty. Okay. All right. And there we have it.
Can I get the sake?
Got some left, and of course, with the Spanish meal, it wouldn't be an authentic experience from an adult culture unless you combine alcohol in the experience somehow. So I got a bottle of Zuku sake. We'll enjoy with it. I usually, I guess, the unexperienced American that I am, I always got sake warm at restaurants, but apparently that's just how the really bad sake is served. So we're going to serve this chilled, as apparently nice sake is meant to be served. And yeah, it's been a fun experience learning how to make sushi. I'll see you all Monday.